Let's imagine you've settled in to a comfortable place, a place where you feel safe and open, ready to explore the idea of humour and how it shapes connections. You're aware of your breathing, the gentle rise and fall, and it reminds you of the rhythm of your life. Isn't it interesting how even the simplest breath can become a doorway leading you to a deeper space? As you continue to breathe, imagine a time when humour, something so natural, so universal, made a heavy moment lighter. Recall how that effortless laugh diffused tension, created understanding, and made everything easier. Now, while you're feeling that memory, maybe you can let a part of you remember that humour is not just something that happens. It's something you can create, just like breathing. It's a skill that becomes easier and more natural over time. So, let me tell you a story. A man came to me once, troubled by the fear of not knowing what to say. He felt burdened by the weight of words, thinking they had to be perfect, crafted without mistakes. But we worked together, and I helped him to see that words can be like leaves in the wind. Sometimes they dance, and sometimes they settle quietly. And either way, they're part of a larger flow. And humour, too. It's a flow. It's the current beneath, moving things forward, taking the pressure off. Now imagine, if you will, what it's like to move through conversations with the easy grace of knowing every moment is an opportunity for connection. Think of a time when you effortlessly made someone laugh, and remember that feeling. Notice what happens when you visualize the joy in their eyes, hear the sound of their laughter, and feel the warmth of being seen and understood. As you hold that in your mind, it might occur to you that humour, real, connecting humour, comes from seeing patterns, seeing beyond the literal to find the playful. We're talking about the mundane and turning it into the unexpected. That sounds a lot like life, doesn't it? We often have these patterns of thinking fixed, rigid, but the moment we shift, suddenly everything changes. And you can practice that shift by thinking of your words like a dance. The steps don't have to be perfect. In fact, sometimes it's the stumbles, the unexpected pauses that humour lives. And it's the space between the beats, the timing, the delivery that carries the music of connection. You see this with comedians, haven't you? They don't rush. They let the silence hang just long enough for the audience to lean in. They give room for laughter to rise naturally. Now, as you think about how your humour works, consider this idea. When you can see the absurdity in life, you see a larger truth. Sometimes when things go wrong, a spilled cup, a traffic jam, or even a missed opportunity, it's like seeing a stubborn dog refusing to walk. Life is full of tiny, absurd moments, and humour allows you to step back and notice without being caught in them. So as you sit here in this quiet place, perhaps there's a part of you that can begin to notice patterns in conversations. The little openings like windows of possibility. And when you see those windows, you can choose to make a playful observation or misinterpret intentionally, because as it's suggested, sometimes humour is about intentionally misconstruing, finding double meanings or emphasizing the contrasts. I wonder what it would be like for you to see conversations as a place to play. When someone asks you about their day, you might think of how their jacket reminds you of something Michael Jackson would wear. When you approach your words with playfulness, suddenly the conversation becomes lighter, more fluid, and you discover there are endless ways to connect. It's fascinating, isn't it? How humour doesn't just build bridges between you and others. It also connects different parts of yourself. Think of those comedians who laugh at themselves. They've found a way to make their vulnerabilities into something shared. Because when you reveal your mistakes and laugh at them. You invite others to do the same. You create a moment where everyone is part of the same inside joke. And as you reflect on this idea, you might find yourself thinking about all the small annoyances of life. Burning your mouth on hot pizza, finding breadcrumbs in the butter, or realizing you said goodbye to someone only to keep walking in the same direction. Notice how these small moments, they're shared, and how in those moments of laughter, something deep inside just relaxes. Now, take a moment to imagine yourself going through your day, noticing opportunities for connection in the small shared annoyances. And when you see them, I wonder if a part of you will automatically, effortlessly find the words to create that bond. After all, you're just noticing what's already there. And as you listen to my voice, let these ideas settle in. Perhaps you can begin to practice now or later, seeing life through the eyes of someone who finds the playful, the unexpected, and the absurd. And as you do, I want you to realize something important. Everyone can be funny. It's not about learning new tricks. It's about learning to see with fresh eyes. When you see with fresh eyes, everything becomes lighter. Conversations flow more easily, and people around you feel more comfortable. And in those moments when you're unsure, remember, humor is about playing, not performing. It's about dancing with the words, letting them flow like leaves on the breeze, and finding joy in the unexpected. So, as you leave this place and re-enter the world of conversations and connections, a part of you can remember you've all you need to be funny, engaging and confident. It's just about noticing what's already there and letting it flow. Because, like breathing, humor is noticing you already know how to do. All you have to do to let it happen. So now begin to listen again in that comfortable space where change often begins, because you can notice the rhythm of your breathing. It's interesting, isn't it? How that gentle rise and fall of each breath, it can remind you of how natural things flow, how conversations flow, how laughter flows, and how learning itself flows from one moment to the next. As you're listening now, you might already know that humor has a way of opening doors. Sometimes we can be so focused on getting things right, we forget to play, to explore, to discover what can happen when we're a little more curious, a little more relaxed. So imagine you're on a journey, walking through a place filled with possibilities. And every conversation, every moment with others, it's like a room waiting to be explored. Some doors are easy to open, some might stick a little, but humor is like having a key that fits them all. And you can allow yourself to notice those little moments when laughter emerges effortlessly, like sunlight streaming through an open window. It's not something you force. It's something that happens when the timing feels just right. And have you ever noticed how skilled comedians seem to know when to pause, when to let the moment breathe? They're like conductors of the orchestra, sensing the perfect moment for the music to swell, the laughter to rise. There's a part of you already understands this intuitively. After all, everyone knows what it's like to relax into a conversation, to let words flow freely. And as you're listening now, you might find it interesting to reflect on those moments when something simple, something small, and seemingly insignificant turned into a shared joke. Those are the moments that bind people together. And isn't it wonderful too how humour gives you the freedom to explore new perspectives? Imagine standing at the end of a lake, the water perfectly still. Now throw a pebble and watch the ripples spread out. Humour is like the pebbles. It creates ripples in our perceptions, inviting us to see beyond the surface. As it's suggested, being funny isn't about performing or trying to get things right. It's about letting go of the rigid patterns and embracing the playfulness. Now consider that for a moment. What if, instead of seeing conversations as a straight line, you could allow them to meander, to dance a little, Conversations are like rivers, flowing in unexpected directions, finding new paths with each turn. And the best part, you already know how to follow the flow, how to play along, and let the current guide you. Now there's something fascinating about how humour can take tension and turn it into something light. Imagine a tightrope walker, perfectly balanced, taking each step with ease. That is what humour does. It keeps us balanced, moving gracefully, even when things feel uncertain. And when you find yourself in a tense moment, you can remember how little humour, a light touch, a playful comment can bring things back into balance, can diffuse the tension, like a gentle breeze that dissipates storm clouds. So as you reflect on these ideas, there's another part of you deep inside that's learning something new. Perhaps you've noticed how the rhythm of humour mirrors the rhythm of life. Sometimes things are quick and sharp, like a witty remark that lands just right. Other times they're slow and they're subtle, like a smile that spreads gently across someone's face. And I wonder if you've already begun to see humour is not just a skill, but a way of seeing. You know, there was a story once about a man who couldn't quite find the right words. He felt the weight of silence, thinking he had to fill every moment with something profound. But one day he saw a child laughing, not because of anything said, but simply because a leaf fell in a funny way. And that man realised something. Laughter isn't what you say, but it's about how you see. It's about noticing those small, absurd moments that others miss. And now, as you listen, you might wonder how easy it can be to start noticing all the small moments in your life. Like the relatability, those universal shared annoyances that connect us all. Like the feeling of seeing crumbs in the butter, or the awkward dance of saying goodbye, only to keep walking in the same direction. You can remember now those little experiences. They're like threads in a tapestry, weaving connections between people. And as you sit here, I'd like you to imagine every conversation that you have from now on. It's like walking through a garden. There are familiar paths you've walked before, but every now and then a new trail appears, a chance to explore something different, and perhaps without even trying, you'll begin to see those trails more clearly. Those moments where a playful comment can turn into a shared laugh. And when you do, you might find yourself leaning into those moments of humour, much like leaning back into a comfortable chair, because when you relax into a conversation, others will relax with you. They will feel the warmth of being understood. Is it true that laughter is one of the quickest ways to create understanding? So imagine a spiral staircase. With each step, you move deeper into a place of connection, of ease, of seeing with new eyes. And each step reveals something new. Maybe you'll begin to notice how humour creates connections, like a bridge between islands. Or maybe you'll discover, every time you laugh at yourself, you're inviting others to do the same, to let down their guard. And you might begin to see the conversations differently, like a dance, where you're not just following, but also leading, inviting others to join in the rhythm of timing, of noticing, of allowing the humour to unfold naturally. So, as you let all of these thoughts settle in you, consider how humour, like gentle rain, nourishes connections, making them grow stronger, deeper. And just as rain seeps into the soil, you can let this understanding sweep into the deeper parts of your mind, the parts that guide you even when you're not aware. And every time you engage with someone, you might remember humour is like water. It flows, it adapts, it finds its way. And even if there's a rock or a bend in the path, water keeps moving effortlessly, just like you can, when you trust that you already have everything you need. You've known humour all your life. It's always been there. is part of who you are. As you continue to listen and relax, perhaps you can already sense that part of you is awakening, ready to step into each moment with playfulness, with ease, with an open heart, because the key to humour isn't knowing more, it's being more open, more curious, more willing to play. And when you're ready, you can come back to this place of awareness, knowing something inside you has shifted just a little, or perhaps a lot. It's all happening in the background, like seeds taking root beneath the surface. You don't need to force it, just as you wouldn't force a flower to bloom. You'll simply let it grow naturally, with each conversation, with each breath, with each step forward.